Hello everyone, welcome back to this game. Please enjoy yourself. Welcome to the casino. Ain't much to look at, is it? Welcome to the Grate Guy Casino. Wanna play the slot machines? Okie doke. Require instructions? Yes, because the game explains better than I do. The slot machine costs 10 coins per game. Hit it once to start the game. Each consecutive hit will freeze one of the pictures. Match all three, and you might win a frog coin. Do you want to try it out? Yes. Now take your 10 coins. I am recording! So I lost, huh? I'm not really good at these. However, at least, we don't have to worry about fighting a mimic if we do lose. Okay, let me actually try to time this. Nope, I suck at this. There we go. I'm done. As you wish. Next, welcome to the blackjack table. Play around with me, sir? Yes. Require instructions? Yes. In blackjack, whomever comes the closest to 21 points without going over wins. I will first deal 2 cards, then we will each draw as many cards as we wish. Once we start drawing cards, we both draw our hand, and whomever has the highest total wins. But if your hand exceeds 21, your opponent wins, regardless of how many points they have. So if you exceed 21, you'll lose. If I go over 21, you'll win. To play, you'll need 1 frog coin. If you win, you'll get 1 frog coin, but if it's a tie or you lose, I'll keep it. Okay, I thought this cost coins, not frog coins. Regular coins, not frog coins. So how about it? Would you like to play blackjack? Well, I just won a frog coin, so let's give this a shot. I'll first deal you 2 cards. Your first card... You got a... N10. A number 10? Oh, A or An. Like we could have got A or An 8. Second card. Please be a big number. It's not a big number. That is not at all a safe number. I will draw 1 more. I don't know how much you have, but my total is 19. I'm gonna hope that you do not have 2 better than me, or equal to me. Dang it! It's a tie. I'll keep your frog coin. Do you want to continue? Let me check how many I have here. Okay, I gotta afford to try again. I don't want to go below 50 though. In fact, ideally, this is going to be the last try. Well, I think I want to try get another card here. I hope you went over. You went over! Huzzah! I broke 21, so you won. Getting those low cards definitely helped me out. Because I forced him into more drawing, I feel like. So I broke even. At least there's that. Okay, now it is time for me to put my conversation skills to the test. Hello, Mario. I run this casino. Feel free to enjoy yourself. Already did. Business is so slow. Hey, Mario, wanna play Look the Other Way with me? Ready and look the other way. Gotcha, I win. So this minigame, oh boy, Mario RPG has a lot of minigames, doesn't it? We're basically having to press the other direction. Here we go again with this. In fact, it's gonna tell us. Hit right or left on the control pad. So, this minigame right here, it is completely random which way he's going to look. I feel like the ideal thing to do here is choose one direction and stick with it. Because the moment you decide to choose a different direction, that's probably going to result in you losing. So your odds, I feel like, are better if you just stick with it. Stick with one direction. I'm going to be sticking with left. And the goal here is to acquire a really nice item called the Star Egg. And trying to remember what the Star Egg actually does. The Star Egg either heals your team 100 HP, or it deals 100 points of damage against all enemies. The reason why I can't remember is because Super Mario RPG Revolution wound up doing the reverse. It started one way in the original Mario RPG, and then it was the other way in Mario RPG Revolution. Either way, the nice thing about the Star Egg... Oh, there's a red essence. The nice thing about the Star Egg is it has unlimited use. So, either I'm going to have an item that can heal me an unlimited amount of times, or I can have an item that damages all enemies an unlimited amount of times. Here's the catch though. In order to get this amazing item, I have to win Look the Other Way 100 times. So, you know what I was saying about practicing my conversation skills? Let's see here. Random topic, random topic. My headphones are falling apart. So, I decided to just buy another pair of headphones. Exactly like the ones that I am wearing right now. A cheap purple pair of headphones. They're like $5. Ooh, nice. Rock candy. Speaking of items that cause damage, rock candies are definitely more powerful, but they are one-time use. Unless you get a freebie. While I was buying the headphones, I decided might as well also buy a couple of games. Cheap games. Not really in a position to be buying expensive games, so I went for a couple of Game Boy games. And I wound up getting Fortified Zone and... oh, what else there? Daffy Duck in Foul Play. Fortified Zone is some overhead shooter game. Not a very fast-paced one, but it's kind of looking interesting. Tell you what, The music in it sounds pretty good, especially the boss music. You also have two playable characters, a guy and a girl. The guy can wear armor, the girl can't, but she can jump, because she's not being weighed down by armor. Seems like it's a pretty decent game. Decent enough that I have a feeling eventually the game is going to get more expensive. People are going to be realizing that there is a decent Game Boy game being sold on the cheap and start marking it up. I mean, wouldn't be the first time that's happened. I wound up buying Avenging Spirit for like 10-15 bucks, and now it's gone more than double that. As for Daffy Duck Foul Playing, it's not as impressive, except visually. It is visually a very impressive game. Daffy has so many frames of animation, including when he eats food. Okay, I'm full up. I'm gonna just start tossing just about anything. Part of the gameplay is he needs to eat food in order to regain energy, which is kind of like a time limit, except it's hunger. And there is a surprising amount of frames of animation just for that, as he lifts the food up, shoves it into his beak, the food slides down into his belly, leaving him with a fat belly for a couple seconds before he shrinks back down. Oh wow, this game is definitely proving worth it, isn't it? I've said before, I'm pretty sure I've said before, Game Boy is my favorite game system of all time. I kind of look at Game Boy as an underdog. Outside of the obvious titles, Super Mario Land 2, Pokemon, nobody really talks much about Game Boy games. Compared to like Super Nintendo and NES, where people will talk about all sorts of games, not just the obvious ones. But Game Boy has a lot of interesting and quirky titles that nobody talks about. My favorite quirky title being Bubble Ghost, which I have previously let's played at YouTube. It is a game where you play as a cute little ghost trying to blow a bubble out of a mansion. It has bubble physics. And you don't want the bubble to touch anything or else it pops. It's a pretty short game, but also a pretty difficult game. Also has a great theme song for bubble exploration. It is a game I really enjoy. But of course, it's one of those games that nobody talks about. I would actually love to start collecting Game Boy games. Well, I suppose technically I already have, like these past couple of Game Boy games that I was talking about. I bought to add to my collection. Something I should totally do is head over to eBay and buy those Game Boy lots. Just big assortments of Game Boy games, like 10, 20, 30 of them in a lot for 60 bucks. That would definitely boost my collection. I have somewhere around 25 Game Boy games right now. Ignoring Steam, that is the most games I have for a single platform. Doesn't matter the quality of the game, I just want to collect as many Game Boy games as I am able to. Collecting all of them would be a bit of an impossibility, because some Game Boy games, they be expensive. For example, Mega Man 5 on the Game Boy. It is a completely different adventure anything Mega Man 5 on the NES. It's a pretty good game to my understanding. It was released for the Super Game Boy. It's the only Mega Man game that has Super Game Boy compatibility. It is also a rare game. And asking price for a used copy? Not cheap. I want to say $50, $100 for it. I actually want to say, last time I looked, it was going for $120. That is really expensive for a Game Boy game, considering back in the day, Game Boy games only sold for $30 when they were new. Strikeback says, how would you feel if Nintendo released a Game Boy Classic Edition? I would get it. I was not able to get the NES Classic or the SNES Classic. Didn't get the Genesis Classic either. And who cares about the PlayStation Classic? But a Game Boy Classic? I would absolutely get that. I really want to make Game Boy playthroughs a regular part of my channels again, by the way. For a while at YouTube, I was doing this thing called Game Boy Wednesdays. Every Wednesday, I would play 3 different Game Boy games. One black and white Game Boy game, one Super Game Boy game, and one Game Boy Color game. And the idea was... Oh, hold on a sec. That's a good item as well. I'm keeping these 3 on hand for the sake of using them in battle, just to see what it's like using them in battle. The idea was, after every stream, people would vote for one of the 3 Game Boy games I played for me to continue playing it the next week, alongside 2 other new games. It didn't really work out, though. There were a lot of ties. I didn't really have very many people watching these playthroughs, so somehow, someway, just about every week there was a tie. Sometimes a 3-way tie. Eventually, I got kind of frustrated with all the ties and just gave up on Game Boy Wednesdays. Another red essence. Oh boy, I'm getting a lot of these. Might trade them in that shop. Getting more than I actually might need. Yeah, I'll toss that. Gogly is asking if I do more Game Boy games, would I consider Game Boy Advance games? I mean, if I play Game Boy games, it'll just be because of the game that it would be. Like, I want to eventually stream Super Mario Bros. 3 on Game Boy Advance, because it has all those e-reader levels. But otherwise, no, I don't think I would include Game Boy Advance in the mix too much. Because Game Boy Advance games, they don't have that same sort of quirkiness to them that classic Game Boy games have. I mean, the Game Boy Advance is basically a portable Super Nintendo. Heck, it has a lot of Super Nintendo ports. So, it doesn't really have that sort of underdog look to it. That underdog, quirky feel that I love in classic Game Boy. Gogly says, hang on to the red essences, you never know when you'll need them in battle, especially in certain battles I can think of. I have no concern about that. I'm probably going to get rid of a few of these red essences. I mean, look at how the battle against Kulix went. I had very little difficulty with that despite my low levels. I have such an easy time with this game, especially this run where I'm finding all the best equipment. My RPG gives you so many things to make you overpowered. The Quartz Charm, which boosts your attack by 50%, that also applies to damaging items, such as rock candies and other stuff. So, assuming the Star Egg does cause 100 points of damage against all enemies, that means whoever is wearing the Quartz Charm will be able to cause 150 points of damage against all enemies. And again, the Star Egg has an unlimited amount of uses. Use it as much as you want. That is quite an item. Am I actually going to toss away a Kira Cola? No. Way better than a Max Mushroom, so tossing away the Max Mushroom. All these mushrooms we're tossing away. Too bad they don't actually appear on screen. I'd imagine this place would be quite littered. To think that Grate Guy is so bored right now that this is the best game he can think of, and that he's willing to play it this many times. He must be really bored. You know what your problem is, Grate Guy? Your place is too hard to find. There's like multiple people in this game trying to find your place, and they ain't finding it. Not to mention that you need a card to get into the place, and as far as I'm aware, the only place that you can get the card is from Knife Guy. I wonder where else, hypothetically, you'd be able to find one. I mean, literally, we found the only one in the game, but hypothetically, if there were other bright cards, where would you get them? There's probably an invite-only sort of place. But Mario's the only one who has been invited. You know what would be really funny? Knife Guy gave the bright card to us. Was it Knife Guy's only bright card? Because if so, now Knife Guy can't get in here. The bouncers would be like, show us your card. And Knife Guy would be like, come on, it's me, Knife Guy. And they'd be like, show us your card. Toss away the last Max Mushroom. I got more Kira colors that I know what to do with. I mean, I kind of figured that Mario RPG wouldn't... Oh, hey! We made it! Okay, Mario, this is in celebration of your wins. Star Egg. Don't toss it. What will I toss instead? Want to try it again? No. You think you're so hot, but you're not. I'm hot enough. Star Egg, reusable battle item. Not very destructive, is it? Let's actually find out what it does. We need a place with enemies. Bean Valley. Let's try this puppy out. Anyway, let's try this out. $100 damage against all enemies. Nice. Yeah, that's definitely going to be coming in handy in a few battles. The animation's long, like we're talking Final Fantasy Summon long. but that's a good item to have. Anyway, time for a break. And when we come back from this break, I'll go ahead and grab something from that place, the seaside town. I'm gonna trade in our frog coins, and then we're heading back to Bean Valley and fight a boss.